Hello guys, and welcome to a new video. Today we're talking about sleeping bags. My second sleeping bag. I have two. This one is the cheap one, the small one, the one that I ended up using the most in the past years. I bought it in 2012, I guess, so it's 7 years now. But more than a review, I just want to share with you my thoughts about the fact that you don't have to spend too much on a sleeping bag, especially if you're not going to use it very often. Maybe you just need one for light travel, light camping, and why I think that the SNUGPAK TRAVELPAK 2 is a very good, cheap sleeping bag. And I'm your uncle. My main sleeping bag is a very large and expensive sleeping bag that it's been with me for more than 10, maybe 12 years, and I will make a review about it. But today I wanted to show you this one, the TRAVELPAK 2 by SNUGPAK, because friends sometimes ask me, I'm going camping for the first time, or I'm not a camper at all, but I'm going camping with some friends, what should I buy? And what I tell them every time is, just don't spend too much, but don't spend too little. SNUGPAK is a UK brand. I already told you about the response pack they make, which I've been using for quite some time now. And when I found myself in need of a sleeping bag, a small, light sleeping bag, there were so many brands, so many models. I was a bit confused. Then I ended up on their website and I bought this one, the TRAVELPAK 2. I needed a sleeping bag that was light, warm, and not too expensive. And as you can see from this image on the back of the compression bag, it's a mummy style sleeping bag, 220 centimeters in length, 1.1 kilos, and this little number over here, the comfort temperature, that's interesting. Let me show it to you. It says comfort temperature 2 degrees Celsius, plus 2 degrees, and low temperature -3. Now, you shouldn't even look at the lowest temperature ratings on sleeping bags, every sleeping bag. It's completely useless because the only number that tells the truth is this one up here, the comfort temperature, which is supposed to represent the temperature where you, sleeping in the sleeping bag with a t-shirt and your underwear, will have a good, nice sleep. The other temperature just tells you that in an emergency you could do that. But we're not talking about emergency, we're talking about camping and being okay and spending a good night in your tent or wherever you are. So this is a +2 degrees Celsius rated sleeping bag, and I can tell you that that is true. I've used it in April and May while camping on a mountain, and it was absolutely okay. Actually, it was even a little too warm. But I'd rather go with something that's a little on the warm side instead of something that will make me feel cold at night. It's a mummy style sleeping bag, and now I'll show it to you, I'll unpack it. And I always go for that shape. As you can see, it tapers down here at the end. Yes, there's less room for your feet, you can't move too much, but it keeps you warmer. And the squared ones, the squared sleeping bags, there's more fabric, so more weight and more space. I needed this one to be the lightest possible, the smallest when compressed, and I'll show you how small it becomes when you compress it in its bag. But this shape is very good for me. Of course, if you feel a little bit constrained, if you feel like you can't actually move in it, you can go for the squared ones, but keep in mind that they're heavier. Now this is the black and blue version. The new versions, because this is from 2012, the new versions gets, I guess, one solid color, and the TRAVELPAK 2 is lighter blue, just one solid color. And I don't care about the way it looks. My sleeping bag must keep me warm. The way I went for the SNUGPAK TRAVELPAK 2 is not just because it's comfort temperature, as I told you, which is very good for me. I don't have problems with cold weather. I was always fine, never had a problem. It's still okay after so many years. But what I really liked was this. There's a mosquito net, and I hope you can see that, integrated in the hood. So if you want to keep flies, mosquitoes out of your sleeping bag, this is just great. I always keep it on, even when I'm not in the sleeping bag, when I'm not sleeping in it, to avoid for those animals to get in. And then you have here a Velcro strap that reveals the zipper that opens the sleeping bag all the way to the bottom. Again, since it's a mummy style sleeping bag, you won't be able to open it flat. It will just open up until the end of the sleeping bag where your feet go and that's it. I don't need it to open like this, so again, I went for this one. Now, by reading the label, you will see that it's 100% polyester. And that is fine with me. I always go for synthetic materials just because feathers, the down-filled sleeping bags, they're great. They can be compressed to a super small size, but when they get wet, it takes hours to dry them. Instead, with polyester, it's a matter of minutes. You just hang it somewhere and wait for the sun to dry it. And it's made in China. Here on the back you can see that. It's a UK brand. Most of their lineup is made in the UK, but the less expensive, the cheaper sleeping bags and backpacks are made in China. I have nothing against that. They'll probably do it because it's less expensive to make them there. It also has these two loops here at the end. And they're useful if you want to hang the sleeping bag upside down when it's wet, or simply to keep it in your closet. Although, again, with synthetic sleeping bags, that's not a problem. You can even keep them in their compression bag. With feathers, that's a problem because they will lose their insulation properties over time. But with synthetic, that's not a problem. So can you keep warm at night in a tent on a budget without spending too much? Yes, you can. And this is my suggestion. The TravelPak series from SNUGPAK are very, very good. There are some problems with it, at least in my opinion. The zippers, sometimes they might not work properly. I have to be honest with that. That's the only problem I've had with it. If you're careful, it won't happen to you. But if you're in a hurry, you're simply so cold that you want to get in your sleeping bag and you go way too fast, the fabric inside might get caught by the zipper. That's the only problem I've had with it. The rest is okay. The Velcro patch here, the Velcro strap is still working. The mosquito net is fantastic, and it's warm. Warm and not too expensive, 40 euros. I paid 40 euros, I guess, 8 years ago, 7 years ago. Not too expensive and really, really good. And it's light, 1.1 kilos. Although when I'm camping and I have a very large backpack, I don't use the compression bag. I just stuff the sleeping bag on the bottom of my backpack. The compression bag that comes with this is a very good one. Here it is. Here it is. Simple, just like any other sleeping bag. And I'll show you in a second how small it can get. Remember that this is all synthetic, so you can't compress it too much. But it's something like, when it's fully compressed, it's like 20 centimeters by 20 centimeters. It's really, really small. So if you want to attach it to your backpack or simply keep it in a bag, it won't take too much space. Oh, and in case you're wondering how to put it back, I've had friends who tried to, they were not very familiar with camping and sleeping bags, and they tried to roll the sleeping bag to put it in the bag. That's kind of impossible. If you can do that, you're my hero, my personal hero. All you have to do to put it back in its bag is just grab the head or the hand of the sleeping bag, there's no particular order, and stuff it inside until it's all inside. That's the only way to do that. I'll show you now how small and compressed it gets when you pull the compression straps here. Here it is in the bag, and now I will just push on it against a hard surface. That's how you compress it, and slowly pull the compression straps one by one. And it becomes something like this. Very small, right? Just don't keep it in this condition for too long because the strap won't last. They're just so tight. But if you need to put it in a bag or just you want it to take less room in your trunk, in the trunk of your car or in your backpack, this is good, and it works very well, as you can see. So here it is, SNUGPAK TRAVELPAK 2. If you're on a budget, it's a great, great sleeping bag. It won't break, it won't fail on you. Just the only improvement I can suggest is just to make these zippers a little bit stronger, a little bit larger, but as a minor thing, the important is to stay warm at night when you're camping. So this will keep you warm and will keep mosquitoes outside, which to me is just fundamental. All synthetic, that's my preference. Of course, you can disagree with me, but all synthetic. No problems with water or when you have to dry it. 1 kilo, 2 degrees Celsius, that's the comfort temperature, and the only one that you should pay attention to. I'd rather be too warm than too cold, of course, at night. Let me know what you think of SNUGPAK's sleeping bags in general, because I haven't tried all the other models, and there are a few that I'd love to have and try, especially the big ones, the serious ones. Let me know what you think of the video, of course. Subscribe, comment. Thank you for watching. I'm your uncle.